I'm a rock, and this is Aspic. Read the title. It's right up there. I'm gonna do that joke again because I'm out of ideas. Uh, anyways, what? Tonight, obviously, we got Kyon here. He's a regular.
Hey.
And we're bringing back someone else who's digging them from the graves. We got, Pyro.
Hello.
He likes to burn the things.
I do.
And, he also likes to, apparently, make practical jokes about religion.
Yeah, he does. That he does.
Anyway, so tonight's topic, getting all into it now, well, we have an hour to burn. Puns!
Oh, jeez.
Tonight's topic is, kind of, I don't know, it's kind of it's always relevant. Entertainment. Like, how far people will go for their, be it like a movie star, an athlete, etc. How far they're willing to put themselves on the line for the sake of entertainment. And conversely how far people are willing to go to bend the boundaries. So, yeah, let's get into it. Anyone think of good examples?
Alright, I can think of a good example. I mean, let's look at modern TV shows that are, or rather modern game shows. The one ran by that dude from Jackass. I forget his name.
Johnny Knoxville?
Yeah, whatever. People go through these like humiliating games to win some small amount of cash. And they keep playing in hopes of more cash, but the entire time they're just being humiliated and laughed at by the audience for getting a little bit of money.
That's right. Yeah, another good example, if you want to stay game shows, is well, it's not on anymore, obviously. Fear Factor.
Oh yes, Fear Factor.
That's a big shock value sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was more for a niche, like not so much for a niche crowd, but like more or less for like people that were willing to just do anything.
That's not true though, because a lot of them like freaked out.
Yeah, a lot of them did freak out, and they were the ones that were kicked off the show.
Oh.
That's right. It was about not freaking out.
Yeah. So they were seeing how far you're willing to go in these gross tasks to get, again, money.
Billy MC played Fear Factor on the Game Boy.
It's not the same.
Yeah, really. I was actually watching that, and I was like, what the hell? How do you, like, do that? There's apparently a fear meter if you push the guy too hard.
What?
Because, like, if it's just playing, it's like, all right, all I got to do is press A here and go here, but, like,
Yeah.
Anyway, sticking on topic, if we want to do game shows, I have a game show to mention later on because there's a lot to talk about with it. Mo Kawaii.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Okay, no.
But yeah, let's
I actually have an interesting segue.
Sure.
I remember when
Segue.
you said yes, segue. I remember when you were saying how far people are willing to push the boundaries.
Right.
Going to I believe, well, in my opinion, and I think in many people's opinions, very a very controversial person in the 90s, a woman by the name of Roseanne Barr.
Why would you say she's controversial, though?
I said she is controversial.
No, but why? Why would you say she...
Oh, okay.
This thing,
I don't think
this headset keeps raising my volume. Continue!
I don't think I know who that is, actually. Explain.
Like the show Roseanne, like...
Shush Kyon.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
Keep going.
Okay, so she started off as a stand-up comedian. Her whole big thing was she was like the suburban, forget the word she used, but she would just tell stories about like her life, and she would just be like these like ridiculously hilarious stories, and then it turned into a sitcom called Roseanne.
Well, yeah.
And at the
spin-off of the John Goodman show, actually.
But at the peak of that, a little bit of trivia for you guys. The first ever lesbian kiss on nationwide television took place, or at least in America, took place on Roseanne.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't even know that.
First
Interesting.
ever, exactly, yeah. But
Yeah.
so one I forget what game it was, but there was a baseball game, and I believe Rock knows where I'm going with this. I could be wrong, but Roseanne was asked to sing the national anthem.
All right. I think I know where you're going, but continue.
For those of
Freaking
you who are listening, I am not going to sing it because it's just god awful. But she did it on purpose to try and get a laugh out of people. Obviously, didn't
Sort of like
get a laugh out of very many people.
No.
Especially because after she was done singing it, she grabbed her crotch and spit on the ground at her feet, and then walked off of the baseball field.
who she thinks she is, Elvis,
Maybe.
Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty controversial. You see a lot of comedians doing that, and I want to save that towards like the end of. I mean, we're only like 6 minutes in. I want to save it towards the end. Let's talk more about people who put themselves on the line for their form of art.
Okay.
You know,
Let's see.
you've got a lot of like performance artists who do that. They'll like hurt themselves and stuff and put themselves in harm's way
Oh,
to get a statement across.
what about to less extreme than that? You know, well, same extreme, but like to a less, to a more selfish point. Supermodels. A lot of them do bad things to their body to keep a certain size,
That's right.
and I don't know exactly what their mindset is because, you know, I'm not a model. Surprising.
Wink, wink.
But, you know, they'll starve themselves or become bulimic just to
Yeah.
keep going this lifestyle.
To keep up the image.
Yeah, and it seems almost like it's too much to do for something so silly. I know a lot of people have self-image issues, and I'm not trying to belittle those people, but
But when it turns into like a physical disease, I guess bulimia is a mental disease. Anorexia is more of a mental disease because you're controlling that you're not eating and stuff. And like I've heard a lot of things. Like I personally do not have anorexia, and I don't think I've ever met anyone with anorexia. But apparently, a thing about anorexia is it's a lot of mental stuff because like when you look in the mirror, you see like this huge person that isn't you.
yeah.
A lot of the time, that's what I've heard anyway.
I remember.
A lot of those eating disorders are like that.
And
Go ahead,
and,
Yeah.
and a little side note before we continue is if you're having a problem like that and you're listening to this, I would suggest talking to someone about it because
yeah, get help
Yes.
because it's
It
unhealthy.
is very unhealthy.
being like that is not something that you should be ashamed of and something that you shouldn't try to hide. You should talk to people that you trust, though, not just anyone. Definitely. And
Family.
if you don't want to talk to your parents about it, you know, you can find ways of talking to like a guidance counselor, even like a real psychologist. Well, guidance counselors are real psychologists, but like a psychologist with years of experience with stuff like this.
Yeah.
They won't judge you, and if they do, then they're very bad at their job. And
Anyway, what were you saying, Pyro?
I was going to say, I remember watching, and we're kind of going off on a tangent here, but,
Well, that's what it's about.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
serious conversation.
Alrighty.
Yeah, that's right.
There was this documentary on anorexia I watched. This was like a while ago, and it was for some school project. I think it was in middle
Yeah,
school.
they make you. Yeah.
But
ahead.
there was this girl who was telling her story, and like she literally hated eating. Like she would like regret every meal of every day. But every once in a while, when she did eat, she would go to the high school or whatever and just run up and down the stairs or the bleachers at the football field. And eventually one day she could just not do it and just passed out on the bleachers while running down them.
So that probably was a hospitalization, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. She was hospitalized. She actually shares her stories. She tries to give back and help people with conditions such as these. But yeah.
In the meantime, I'm eating White Castle like an asshole.
Oh, yeah.
Mmm.
Another thing, people that go through extremes is like girls and women that have like, and also guys, will go through hoops to get noticed by someone that they are enamored with.
Well, this is more about... Yeah, we could
Almost,
talk about
but
that.
yeah, but it's like
I mean, we talked about anorexia.
yeah, but it's like almost an obsession. I mean, like stalkers can probably be put under that category, but I'm talking less about stalkers because those like creepy
Stalkers?
things. But like these women and men do things that try to be like not creepy, but you know, kind. They don't try to like call you at every hour of the day, leaving like creepy like breathing messages and stuff like that.
I know where you sleep.
Or like try to take videos and stuff. They just like they want to know about the person so much that you know they're willing to like ask people they know or that the person is friends with and stuff like that, and it just they kind of make it like a study case, or not study, like they're like studying the other person, and as if for some type of test, like it's going like
Yeah.
like knowing everything about them is what's going to make it so that the other person sees them as someone that they could fall in love with, and that's not always the case, which I can't say is unfortunate or fortunate. And sure, it's unfortunate for the person that's being obsessive, but again, it's something that people go to extremes for. I mean,
Yeah.
they'll even like.
We're trying to stay more we're trying to stay more like towards like entertainers and stuff.
It's hard to
Like,
do that when.
Yeah, it is.
Hours
This is
and we don't want to talk about entertainers until a little.
this is worth mentioning.
Okay.
I was just about to say that. It is worth mentioning.
Okay.
But we're trying to stay more
All right.
entertainers because it's for a crowd. People are it's for
Britney Spears. How about that?
Yes. We will talk Britney Spears after this break. We're about a quarter through. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. We're back.
Whack.
Woof.
Rip it. Anyway, yeah, Britney Spears.
I remember back at the whole kind of like the peak of that whole Britney Spears situation was when, obviously for those of us who remember and those of us who would like to forget, there was the time when she just on a whim just went into a barber and just said, cut all my hair off.
Well,
Yeah.
I think.
I feel like, yeah, go on.
Wasn't she? Didn't she also have like a nip slip at like a Nickelodeon event?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people assume that that wasn't on accident.
But then again, you could make the same. There's the whole argument that forget what Super Bowl event it was, but it was Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson. That whole fiasco that happened at the Super Bowl halftime show. People are saying like the way the choreography was happening, it seemed like it was intentional. And I feel like people like that just need to just stop obsessing over little details. Like it happened. Like just.
I hate to say it. I was about to stop you guys and say, well, that's not entertainment, but it is. It's practically on purpose. It's to entertain people, and that's sad.
Yeah.
That people like fall for that kind of stuff. It's stupid gossip. It's trivial.
I just
But I guess people are people, so
I just have to say one thing though. I actually don't care too much about celebrities.
No, neither do I.
Like
I
don't know any of the like new gossip or anything. I don't know any of the new news.
No, yeah,
They're
that's what I was saying.
actors
I was gonna stop you guys because like once again, it's more about the entertainment purposes, but it is entertainment for a lot of people. Not saying you guys at all. I know you guys aren't. But, like,
I'm just saying that because like this is a bit tough for me, like this subject, only because I don't.
It's
have
hard
many
to
actual
do.
people that I care about following.
Yeah.
The celebrity world.
Well, how about this? How about after this segment, we talk about people who push the boundaries a little too far,
All
just
right.
looking for it. I'm talking more about people who harm themselves to get in the way.
All right.
In the limelight?
Yeah,
Okay.
people who harm themselves, not to push the boundaries out at
I
anyone
guess,
else, like
Is this general or also, again, entertainment?
entertainment. Let's try.
Okay.
because I know there's gigantic sarcastic air quotes around street magician David Blaine.
And like Chris Angel and stuff. Yeah.
I don't even know that much about Chris Angel. I know he's not really even considered a magician anymore. But David Blaine is not. He calls himself a street magician, but he's just more even of just a person who does crazy, stupid stunts in public. Like I remember, I was in New York a couple of years ago, and I was walking down the street in New York with my parents and a couple of family members, and I saw this giant fishbowl, and with a boatload of cameras around it, and I was like, well, I wonder what's going on there. I just kept walking, and there was a bunch of people surrounding this giant fishbowl. I found out later on the news that David Blaine was trying to attempt the world record for most consecutive time spent underwater.
Wow. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if there's a record of it, but I'm pretty sure Houdini spent like 20 hours or something.
David Blaine.
Speaking of Houdini, that's someone I wanted to bring up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good example.
He also did some crazy stuff for,
Oh yeah,
you know.
forget about it. One of his things was like the way he actually passed away is really noticeable. It's notable. I mean, not noticeable.
Yeah.
Well, it actually wasn't noticeable. That's the irony. He would go to colleges, right?
Yeah.
To baffle the physics students, and he'd be like, "All right, punch me in the gut, like punch me in the appendix." And he would take all these punches from all these like people who were like obviously younger than him, and he would take them and not budge or not freak out over it. Well, apparently, due to all the stress that he had throughout his career, putting his body through all that stuff and enduring all that stuff, one day he was doing his normal punch my appendix, and his appendix exploded, and he passed away.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
That's how he passed away.
He died right on the spot.
Yeah.
Like just instantly, like no hospitalization, no pulse, no.
Well, there wasn't enough time. You see, the appendix is like there's
yeah.
lots of bile
Yeah,
and
all,
stuff.
all the toxins that's in your appendix.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's actually very dangerous. My
Oh,
mother
yeah.
went through that.
Very sad too. Like the guy was like, he must have been like 40 something. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'll look it up later.
Yeah.
But my mother went through appendicitis. Like, she thought it was food
Ooh.
poisoning. It was bad.
No, that's how bad it
Yeah.
is. It really is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But to have it like explode right on the spot.
Yeah.
That's got to be
Yeah,
like unimaginable pain for like
But
a split second and then just death.
past his death, though, like, look at his other magic, you know, or his tricks. He was a locksmith by trade. So for every lock, he'd have a key, and he would like swallow a giant key ring, and then throw it up to unlock a lock, and that's how he did his like magical lock tricks.
Yeah, that's right.
So
What about
freaking keys in his stomach most of the time. That can't be good for you.
you know, you mentioning that reminds me of like you mentioned like street magicians, like sideshows, people who like swallow swords and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Or like swallow fire. Oof.
Yeah, stuff like that.
It's actually, you mentioned swallowing swords. That's actually, it's funny you mentioned that because I did, a while, like maybe a couple of years ago, I subscribed to this magazine. I for the life of me, I'll never remember it. But it was like fun facts or whatever, and like one of the months that I got the magazine was explaining the secrets behind magic tricks, and there was like a whole 3 pages explaining Houdini's most famous tricks. But one of the articles I found really interesting was how they explain how sword swallowers swallow swords without internally damaging themselves.
It's just a lot of practice, I'm sure.
Well, it's funny because it's not as much practice as you think. Now, think back to all the times you've seen people swallow swords, or if you have at all, for the people that are listening. you always notice when they are swallowing the sword, their head is tilted back. That creates a very straight passageway to
The stomach.
They dull the tips of the swords, obviously, so it doesn't puncture anything. So they
Well, it
tilt
won't
their
puncture
heads
as easily.
back. What?
It won't puncture as easily.
Exactly. It won't like just go straight through you. So what would happen was they would tilt their heads back to create a very straight passageway just down through their body, and then they just wouldn't bend their body as long as the sword was in there, because if they did, it would probably mean death.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
And then people would try and say, oh, but they bend forward. They don't bend forward. They shift their hips so that they can look at you. Like they kind of do bend forward, but they don't bend their abdomen. It's a lot of core strength and a lot of just mental things that
That's
go
right.
on.
Another segue I'd like to bring up, because, you know, we're almost halfway through this, and for the last half I want to be talking about the other side of this, because there's a lot you could say about that. Speaking of strength and physical danger, wrestlers. I mean, like, back in the day more so, but still
I would say
wrestlers.
more along the lines today is the mixed martial art fighters.
Well, that's fighting. I'm talking about entertainment.
Yeah.
Well, that is also entertainment. I mean,
Well-
it's on pay-per-view.
Well,
Yeah,
but
but
you
still.
got to take into consideration wrestling is like WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment, while MMA fighting is considered more of a sport. Because while wrestling, yes, it is sports entertainment, MMA is more of an extreme sport where it's like it's not scripted. These are actually people that are hurting each other.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, physically hurting each other, that's even more. But, like, getting back more to the point that Rock was bringing up is, yeah, wrestlers. I mean, some of those wrestlers, they cut themselves to, before the match and, you know, put Vaseline on them. And then during the match, they'll wipe off the Vaseline so they start bleeding again. And they do
Yeah.
that for money.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, that's
You
crazy.
know, and
More
you
so-
mentioned Rock, that that it was more dangerous back in the day. I would have to disagree with you there, because
Why?
back in like the 70s and 80s, like wrestling was, I don't want to say more simplistic, but it was a lot more safe in a lot of aspects. Like only in the more recent years, okay, yeah, back in the 80s there were steel cage matches and all that stuff. But now, like in the late 90s and even more today, there's like ladders, there's a lot more things where you could go wrong than I feel back in like the 70s and early 80s. Like
There wasn't as many regulations back then for.
that is also true, but there's also a lot more room for error when there wasn't when you were climbing a 10-foot ladder.
I don't know, maybe. But then again, they also have padding and stuff in the actual, you know, what do they call it?
Ring.
Yeah, the ring. They actually have it. And the certain moves also are not used today because of how dangerous they are.
Yeah, I remember Rock and I were talking about this back like maybe last year. There are, for viewers that are listening who are wrestling fans, relatively new or older or what have you, there are wrestlers that have died in ring. Like, obviously there's Owen Hart, but that was an accident. But there was a wrestler by the name of Iron Mike DiBiase who was pile-driven in the ring, and his spine collapsed in on itself, and he died in that match in the ring. Like, he was dead when his head hit the ground.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. I don't know about it being more dangerous now. I don't know. Like, you say that like it was dangerous now more than back then. Maybe if you're like an independent fed, but like do you see any deaths now versus back then?
That is true. And even the deaths that happen nowadays are either the really old guys that went through.
It doesn't happen in
It doesn't
ring.
happen in ring. Exactly. That is a good point.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is...
Well,
it's
is
not
it,
so
though?
much- What do you
I
mean?
mean, you're just saying like it was more. It's more dangerous now, but It seems that it's more, it's safer as a wrestler now than it was back then.
Maybe I should have said that it's there's more room for error than there was back then.
I think that it's,
Because, like, all right, like, let's say 1986, just a random year. You look at match cards from...
I have to say I don't know anything about this, really, other than the short time I actually watched wrestling when I was 12 or 13.
Well, match card is a term that's, like, the people that are wrestling in that night. But, like, let's say 1986. The match card usually consists of one-on-one matches, tag team matches, and the main event would probably be a grudge match, not a street fight, but like a no disqualification or whatever, like something like that. But like even back in like the 70s and 80s, you like actual like matches, you very rarely saw them fight, like legitimately fight in anywhere other than the ring area. Or in
I guess that's up for interpretation. Anyway,
When
we get back, yeah, just a little. When we get back, we're going to be talking about the other side. You know, comedians, personalities, etc. What for, like Roseanne Barr, as earlier mentioned, who, you know, bend the rules a bit, so to speak. Yeah. We'll be right back. We're back, and we were talking about, obviously you guys are just watching, or I guess listening. We were talking about people who put themselves on the line, wrestlers and stuff. Brief tidbit of information, and I guess this can bleed into both topics. We're going to be talking about the opposite now. People who go far to try to, like, get a rise out of people for the sake of entertainment. You know, like people who push boundaries. You know, I am a fan, personally, and I'm sure these two are as well, of a Japanese game show by the name of Gaki no Tsukai. It's not really a game show, it's a variety show, but they have their actors do these yearly events called Batsu games, which are pretty much punishment games where if you laugh, you get hit on the ass. But some of the skits they do are like so out there and ridiculous. Like, for example, there's one where at one point they're like, okay, you two come with me, you guys got to take a bath. And they go into a bathhouse, and I don't know if you know, but there are public bathhouses in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And they go in there, and they're just in like towels, nothing underneath. And then these women come in, and they're also just in towels. And like, one of the actors was like laughing because he could see the woman's, you know, private parts. Pretty crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And there's been many events of nudity on that show as well, but it's different there.
It's a whole different set of standards over there.
Sort of. In Japan, pornography is banned, so they have very heavy censorship on any nudity. But they're a bit more free about nudity. Even like, well, like, and on sometimes you'll see nudity in America, and you know, it's censored, but it's not. It doesn't happen very often. This is on, like, you know, some TV, some channels. But in Japan, this is very common in game shows. I mean, there's even like specific ones with where contestants get naked and have to like do some like ridiculous thing, like go into a pen of pigs or something. Or sometimes it's a completely unexpected thing, like someone will be using a bathroom and then they'll eject the person from the toilet into
a private
area.
That.
It sounds funny, but it must be mortifying for the person that, you know, does it.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't want to do it.
Oh, you don't have a choice.
Obviously.
It's like a candid camera, you know?
Or like Just for Laughs from Canada.
Yeah.
They did that, I think.
But
there's also the case of comedians like to do this a lot to get like shock value. Like there's I forget his name, but Cosmo Kramer from Seinfeld is a good example. Saying the N-word at people.
oh, that jerk.
Like on Seinfeld?
On
No.
Seinfeld, he was the guy that played Kramer.
Yeah, I know, but like, what?
No, stand up.
Oh,
He was doing his own stand-up, and
Okay.
he got pissed at some of the people in the audience, I think, and they happened to be black, and he just started, cursing at them.
It doesn't even have to be someone famous. You could get like any person who's like just trying to get a rise out of someone. Maybe like, I don't know.
Like Pyro.
What?
Like Pyro.
Why?
That jerk.
Why is he a jerk?
He's a jerk? Yeah, what do you mean he's a jerk? You didn't see the video?
Oh. Oh, you're still on that?
Yeah, I'm still on that.
Why don't you guys talk it out?
Talk it out. Why? You guy doesn't want to listen. I mean, if he was listening to me, he wouldn't have done it in the first place.
Okay. I was in front of you the whole time. How could I have possibly done that?
No, don't lie to me. You were in front of me the entire time. I blinked.
Okay. Actually, that was a bad idea. Let's move on, shall we?
Please. Let's do
Recently, there was a kid, and he was facing up to like 8 years or something, but he got bailed out. Somebody was saying something about him. He's I guess somewhere in the rankings of like near pro players in the game League of Legends. And someone was talking about him, and he made a joke about school shootings, just casually, for to get people to laugh. And like someone reported him to the police for that. Do you think that's deserved, or no?
I think he should have been a bit more tactful.
Yeah, that would have been
Like
nice.
a filter, having a mental filter would probably be quite nice.
I don't think that he's necessarily deserving of having the cops called.
8 years, yeah.
But maybe, someone, like, since he has an audience, his audience can definitely have a negative reaction to that, and then he would have to, like, apologize. I think,
Of course, school shootings are like a thing
someone I know
these
should
days.
apologize.
Okay, I'm sorry. I ate your sandwich and the ice cream cake. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't tell you about that. Okay.
Wait, never mind.
No, that was a while
Never
ago,
mind, never
actually,
mind.
so I guess it doesn't really matter. Regardless.
Anyway, there
Anyway. Okay.
there was
Go ahead.
it happens a lot in media. Like well, not even in media. Like I feel like this is one of the reasons that I don't really read YouTube comments anymore is because people.
Oh God.
You know where I'm going with this.
We already talked about this in the last episode.
At least we can agree on
actually.
something.
But like people that just go out of their way to just insult everybody they can, or to just, like you said, Rock,
Like you?
to get a rise out of people.
Gotta rise to the top. Okay, this is awkward. Maybe not the best choice of guest combination, but we're gonna keep chugging along. Stuff. What was I gonna say? Yeah, that kid.
Wasn't there another streamer that pretended to be handicapped and then, like, was found out that he wasn't?
Oh yeah, that was a while ago though.
I know, but even still, we talked about Houdini. So I just thought,
How is that related to Houdini?
No, I'm saying Houdini was a lot longer ago than that. So I didn't think there was a time restriction.
Oh.
But
Yeah?
I mean, like,
Yeah?
pretending
That's something-
you're handicapped is going at pretty long lengths.
That's sort of like pretending you're blind and then asking for money for it.
Yeah.
No, that's a no-no.
Yeah, that's something you don't do.
Are you sure?
Yes, pretty sure we're sure. Who else? Well, a lot of comedians do that. Some people base their like entire comedic career off of that. Like people like Daniel Tosh who just like, haha, you're paraplegic. Ha!
Does do a lot of.
You've got mental illness. Oh,
And he
you're short.
also does
Ah,
value
fair.
on his shows as well, doesn't he? Like shows intentionally gross videos. Kind of like 7chan, but
Sure.
just not as gross, I guess.
Sticking to the internet, Retsu does that. It's a little bit better because, I mean, they're putting themselves out there for it, but at the same time, they are kind of harsh. Like, okay, Bully MC again. The second time I'm going to reference him. But generally a nice kid. I mean, I can understand why some people would make fun of him, but I like him. And like in one video, he's doing a let's play of Super Mario Brothers, and they're just bashing on him so much, and I'm like, how the hell are they getting away with this? And at one point, one of them says, "I'm just waiting for the gunshot." How is that okay? That's not okay.
Yeah.
Like that's not humor anymore.
Yeah, that's
to
just
assume-
going into the realm of offensiveness.
It's not even offensive. It's just like, why would you say something like that?
Why? Shock value.
No, that's exactly the point. It's not funny though.
No.
It's messed up.
I mean, unless of course you have like
Really
a
is.
really dark sense of humor.
I guess so. But, like, really, jeez. Poor guy. I mean, like, I can understand
Yeah.
why he took such a long break from doing Let's Play videos. Billy, if by any chance you are watching this, I can say safely that I am one of the many people who actually likes your content. And you should keep doing what you're doing, because you're great. You and Lime, man. You guys are like Batman and Robin. Except, I don't know who's the sidekick, because you're both so great. Anyways, I feel like Holden Caulfield over here saying anyways like every 3 seconds. It's like if I got paid for saying anyways, like $50 every time I said it,
Aren't you
this would be
getting
a
paid? Anyway?
Cosmic Bowling. Go to Cosmic Bowling. No, I'm just kidding. Every time Cosmic Bowling, I say Cosmic Bowling, I get 50 Cosmic Bowling dollars.
Does that mean you can only spend it at Cosmic Bowling?
No.
Oh.
Anyways.
Anyway.
See? There it is again! There it is again!
It's like a knee jerk.
You're a
Like
knee
your-
jerk.
It's like your go-to word.
Yeah, it's sad. It really is.
Anyway,
Who else? See, you just said it.
I almost did, and I caught myself.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
You totally just said it, Pyro.
All right, fine, I said it.
Who else? There's a lot of people who do that. I mean, like, that's, like, people who push boundaries.
I do that.
Mel Gibson.
I push boundaries.
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson especially, that jerk. He's like Pyro.
Hates the Jews.
Exactly.
Oh, oh, okay. I think, as much as, and this is probably opening up a huge can of worms, or like, if I were really offensive, it's like dropping an atomic bomb on an Asian country. See?
That-
Stuff like that is offensive. It's not funny.
That is,
Don't do
that
stuff
was
like that.
pretty bad.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's for an example. I'm not saying that as a joke. Don't
Okay.
say stuff like that. Once again, opening up a can of worms here. I think that, I don't know, there's a lot to say. I don't think we could cover it in an hour, but I need proper research before I do so. So instead of doing that, I propose that for the last segment, I mean, obviously there's some tension between you two, and it's relevant to the whole, you know, I mean, as much as it was a little thing in one of you's eyes, if they did it or not, I don't even know. You guys should really work that out. Maybe we can use this as an example for something that's like, you know, something that could, you know, potentially band-aid itself. You know what I mean?
I am totally for this.
For it. That's a start.
Jeez.
It's going to be a long road.
Anyways,
And there
get
it
your
is
ice
again.
packs and burn heels ready, because, looks like Pyro's on fire. Be right back. And we're back, and you know, this was supposed to, like, originally be about comedians and stuff who take it really far, but we're kind of segueing into a different thing, so I guess it's still viable. I guess you guys, like, talk it out or whatever. We know what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, well, I think it's still relevant. I mean, Pyro took that joke way too far.
Oh boy, here we go.
What do you mean, here we go? It's totally legitimate that I'm mad at you for doing that. I mean, that's just so rude and mocking.
Okay, first of all, I want to clear something up because I am unsure of something. How was it mocking?
How was it mocking?
Like, in what ways was it mocking you?
You already know how my upbringing, family of two different religions, and then, I had to choose between one of the two, because,
Okay.
well, I haven't told you, but my parents got divorced over this, you jerk, so,
Really?
yeah,
I'm sorry to hear that.
jerk face? Seriously, that was, like, not cool, mocking me about that. I mean, I was getting set on one, like Judaism. Then you like put down the Bible, and you even put like the freaking Star of David over it. Like,
Yeah, that's right.
like
I forgot about that.
what were you thinking? Like that's totally mocking me.
I really think you're overanalyzing this. First off, the place where that whole event happened, that wasn't even a house that I had been in before. No, it was a recording place that we had rented out to do this show. I had never been there before, and so how, unless I carried that big Bible in with me, you would have noticed it.
No, probably brought it with you.
Okay.
Giant
What did I
knapsack.
have? Did I have a bag? No.
I think that personally, this is kind of I don't want to set you up or anything, but that's kind of a bad statement to make because we all drove there separately and met up there. So like for all we know, I mean I'm not trying to side with anyone, but that's just kind of a false argument.
Okay, but you all, both you and Kyon, saw me walk in.
That's right.
Was I carrying a bag?
I don't know. I blinked.
I I don't think so. I'm pretty sure you weren't. And when I say I'm pretty sure, I would have noticed something like that.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, even if I was, which I wasn't, I would have to have been carrying a pretty decently large bag to be able to carry in that Bible, because you saw it, Rock, and you obviously saw it. So it was a full-sized Bible. I would have needed to bring in, first of all, a durable bag. Second of all, a bag big enough to be able to hold it and conceal it. I would have had to gone through so much trouble and so much effort just to pull off that one thing. I think you're getting a little paranoid about this.
Also, and once again, not taking sides, just pointing out, if you watch the video, and even you mentioned this, Kyon, where would he have gotten that cloth with the Star of David and the psalm on it? He's not even Jewish. Like,
I don't know. I mean, it seemed pretty elaborate and planned, so I would assume that
I mean, he could have taken it from your house.
that's true too. But even if he didn't take it from my house, he still could have prepared it before.
Yes, that is true.
I think you're trying to justify this in your head, and you're going through all the rings and trying to figure out, okay, he could have done this.
All right,
but
then
no,
answer me
wait.
this. Answer me this. Who did it then?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Why don't you ask one of the people that was there recording with us? Because you automatically assumed it was me
Did
because
you
I
forget
was
there's
the only
only
person.
3 of us?
So you're saying it's either me or him.
Exactly.
Why would I do something like that?
Exactly.
You do realize that there's like a recording staff that is there, but they weren't there presently when we were there. How do I know, or how do you know for that matter, whether or not there was a Catholic guy that was working there and a Jewish guy, that one guy left his big old Bible in the recording studio and some other guy left a cloth with the Star of David and a psalm on it? You don't know
seems
that.
pretty convenient.
What
That does seem very-
what you're going through and all the crap you're pulling out, like what I'm saying sounds a lot more plausible than what you're coming up with.
Except it doesn't, because the recording staff doesn't know us personally.
They don't. And
Okay.
why?
I'm not saying that they have to know us personally. What I'm saying...
But if they didn't know you personally, then how would they know to do that? Like, as a joke. That was obviously put there on purpose. We looked there on the table, and there was nothing there. Then when we started recording, magically something appears there? I don't think so. That's pretty, what's the word? Specific to put on, a table.
And now, Rock, it sounds like you're taking sides.
No, I don't think so. I'm just trying to think.
Evidence is just pointing against you.
Some of this evidence seems like you're just pulling out of the air for this. I mean, this is getting a little ridiculous.
Oh.
Yeah, you're right. It is. I did say that it wasn't. Do you guys remember that being on the table before it was recording?
No.
Because I feel like I'm not the only one. Like we set up the glasses and everything for the wine glass scene.
I don't remember those specific items being there. So even more suspicious is that you're coming up with this idea for
Like, for me, I don't know. I wasn't there during the recording. I was in the John taking a leak, which is, I guess, my bad. I guess I'm going to throw that out right now. I should have been watching the recording, making sure everything was going smoothly, but I had to take a leak, so I wasn't actually there during the recording. But looking at it, I mean, I was, like, watching it, and I was like, I don't remember that being there. You guys should have noticed that it was there before you guys started recording and been, what is this? What is this doing here? I guess just rolling with it was better, but, like, I don't know. I wasn't there, so...
It wasn't there, though. It wasn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't remember it.
So, okay.
It had to be put there before we started recording that.
Okay. Let me put it to you like this. Kyon and I were in the same in that room while Rock was in the bathroom. So we were whatever. When we were in that same room, we were within like a short distance of each other, and you would have noticed when I left the room.
Yeah.
We maintained eye contact, or at least were within still distance of each other to be able to see where we were in that room.
Yeah, I was about to say, allow me to interrupt. What you're saying is we were on each other, like, in the same room for an extended period of time where someone would have had to have noticed someone put something down.
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay.
And also, if the Bible was not there on that table with the cloth placed over it, even if it wasn't there beforehand, which I am pretty sure it was, but that is neither here nor there.
How do you say it's neither here or there? I mean...
Well, because apparently you don't care what my opinion is, and you don't care what I think, so that's why I said it's neither here nor there.
But the fact that it wasn't there during the first part of the recording...
First of all, you said it. First of all, it's not a fact. You said, and I quote, I'm quoting you here, I'm pretty sure it wasn't there.
It wasn't.
No, it is not a fact that it was not there.
It wasn't there.
I think that the best course of action...
Look back at the video and check.
I was about to say, the best course of action is we have shots where the table is somewhat visible. I mean, it was nighttime, so it's hard to see, but we could look and check and see if that Bible was there during the recording. Because you remember, it was all taken during one shot, right?
Yes.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it was all taken during one shot. And if it's not there, there could also be the possibility that the split between recording you doing that fancy walk of yours and actually sitting down at the table, between the final product. Either way, I don't think being mad at anyone is going to solve anything before we actually find out what happened. Because there are a number of things that could happen. It could have happened.
Mm.
So, I don't know. Is anyone else there, like, aside from me and you, Pyro, that knew Everett personally? Oh, whoopsie. So... yeah. Was anyone there?
I don't think so. We
There
were only
could-
on the
there-
first floor, though.
Exactly. There's multiple floors of this building, and also, well, we had...
Actually, I'm starting to think about it. Wasn't Ruski there? He knows Kyon.
Uh-oh.
He's pretty much Kyon's assistant.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
And he's like he's some kind of Russian, right?
That guy, right.
So he could have been behind it.
Actually forgot his name.
Wow.
He's not very...
So the plot thickens, huh? I mean, like, I'm not trying to pass the buck or anything, but once again, Pyro would have no access to the sort of stuff. Like, I mean, for those of you who don't know, Pyro is Irish. He's got a very Irish Catholic family, and he totally not Jewish at all. So how would he be able to get his hands on that?
Hmm.
I don't know. Like, I'd say, like, he would if he lived in, like, a Jewish type of community, but he doesn't. Not even close. So, it's like, where would he get that? I think we have some questioning to do to a certain personal assistant,
Yes.
because
I suppose we do.
that seems a bit more plausible.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's still up in the air once again. You know,
Mhm.
you can watch the video, you guys, and see that it's the fact still remains that somebody put it there on purpose. Obviously, like, those aren't normal everyday items. I mean, I guess you could consider a Bible one, but nothing that big. Why would that be on, like, a lounging table? I mean, it was obviously put there for a reason, and we're trying to think who had a reason to do that, you know? I mean, Ruski is your personal assistant, Kyon.
I didn't even know his name.
Exactly. Maybe he was thinking, well, this guy's a jerk. I'm going to screw around with this a little. Maybe play a practical joke, prank him or something, you know? But that's kind of going a little far to the point where we had to change the way the video ended, you know? Either way, we have some questioning to do.
We do.
At least now it's a little more, I mean, you're not just pinning the blame on someone, you know? It's still a mystery. Pyro could have done it, but at least we now have stepped back and said, you know, what could have been done and why, you know? I guess that's it. And as much as there's still bad blood in the air, at least we've cleared up a little bit of what could have happened. Joined by me here tonight is Kyon.
Yeah.
And Pyro.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully this kind of in poor taste type of gesture can be cleared up soon. Anyways, thanks for watching ASPC. I'm Marak, and join us next time when we get another special guest to talk about another special thing.